Hey everyone, and welcome back. So last time, we dug into what estate planning is all about. Today, we're going to tackle a question that's just as, if not more, important.
It's a real paradox, isn't it? We know it's something we should do, but a huge number of people, well, they just don't. Today, we're going to get to the bottom of why that is.
And believe me, the reasons people put this off go way deeper than you might think.
And here's the thing. Understanding these reasons is the absolute first step to getting past them, right? Once you can actually name the barrier, you can start to figure out how to climb over it.
So let's walk through the 6 most common roadblocks that just stop people in their tracks. And as we go, see if any of these sound a little familiar.
Okay, this one is probably the biggest one. It is by far one of the most common reasons people hesitate. There's this myth out there that estate planning is only for the super wealthy. People with mansions and giant trust funds. But that is just a huge, huge misconception.
Look, when you boil it all down, your estate is really just your stuff, everything you own. It's about giving clear instructions for what happens to what you have, whether that's a savings account, your car, or even just personal items you care about. It's about being in control, not about being rich.
And roadblock number 2 is, of course, the cost. As soon as people hear the word lawyer, their brain immediately pictures this super complicated and expensive process that's just not in the budget. But a lot of the time, the fear of the cost is a way bigger barrier than the actual cost itself. Sure, really complex situations can get pricey, but there are so many simple, low-cost, and sometimes even free ways to just get the basics covered.
Ah, this one. This is so deeply human, isn't it? We've all got that one thing on our to-do list that we just keep shoving to the bottom. For a lot of people, that thing is estate planning.
And let's be honest about why. This isn't just paperwork, it's emotional. It makes us think about our own mortality, about getting sick, about things we just don't want to think about. So naturally, we tell ourselves, I'll do it later. But you know how it goes. Later has a sneaky way of turning into never.
Now, this roadblock usually comes from a pretty common misunderstanding of how the whole system works. It's a nice thought, right? That everything will just sort itself out smoothly with your loved ones. But the reality can be way, way different.
So on the left here, you see the common assumption that all your assets just magically find their way to the right people. But the reality, on the right, shows that without a clear plan, the process can get super slow, way more complicated, and can even cause arguments between the very people you love. Okay, this one does not get talked about nearly enough. For some people, the whole legal system just feels intimidating. It feels complex and honestly just unpleasant. And the idea of all that official paperwork is an instant turnoff. And you know what? That's a totally understandable feeling. If a system feels confusing or just unwelcoming, our natural human response is to stay away from it. The only problem is avoiding it doesn't make the need for a plan go away. And finally, our last big roadblock, the complete lack of urgency. I mean, let's face it, estate planning is one of those things that doesn't feel urgent at all, until all of a sudden it is the most urgent thing in the world. People tend to wait for some kind of trigger, a health scare, a big life event. But that is the absolute worst time to be trying to make these kinds of calm, thoughtful decisions. You're stressed out, you're in a rush, and you are just not in the right headspace to be planning for the future. So, okay, we've looked at all these reasons, from money to fear to just plain old procrastination. But it's so important that we remember one thing. Procrastinating on something that's genuinely hard doesn't make you a bad person. Feeling intimidated by legal documents doesn't mean you're failing. It just means you're human. And realizing that, really internalizing that, is the key to being able to move forward. So now let's flip the whole perspective. Instead of beating ourselves up for what we haven't done, let's try asking a totally different and frankly much more powerful question. This question, it's just loaded with guilt and judgment. It keeps us stuck in this loop of avoidance, feeling bad about not having started. It's a question that just holds us back. Now this question is different. This one is forward-looking, it's about action, and it's totally manageable. It takes this huge, intimidating task, and it breaks it down into something you can actually do, maybe even today. So what does that first simple step even look like? Well, it doesn't have to be everything all at once. It just has to be a start, any start. You can start so small. Step 1, just learn the basic terms. Step 2, literally just make a simple list of your accounts and important documents. Step 3, look into what it takes to create a simple will.
even the smallest steps still move you forward.
And that's really the big takeaway for today. At the end of the day, it's not the legal jargon or the potential cost that's the real wall. It's that tiny moment of hesitation, that split-second decision to put it off for just one more day.
All right, and before we wrap this up, just a quick and really important reminder. This is all for informational and educational purposes. For real advice that's tailored to your specific situation, it is always, always best to speak with a qualified legal professional. So remember, the goal isn't to be perfect, it's just to make a little bit of progress. The moment you take that first tiny step past hesitation, you are already way ahead of the game. Thanks so much for watching.